I'm Andy Costello.
And I'm Shanna O'Brien, and we are both with Realty One Group, and we are your homegirls of Vancouver, Washington, USA.
Also with homegirlspodcast.com, serving you in the Vancouver and Portland metro area. If you have any questions about real estate, we are your ladies.
Yes, we work with buyers, with sellers, with investors.
Commercial
real estate. If that's Andy, not me, but if you have questions, I can always point you to her.
Today, we are going to talk about lowball offers, whether you're making them or receiving them, how to handle it, what to do, our thoughts on this topic in general.
Yeah, so when we say a lowball offer, we mean basically somebody who's coming in with an offer significantly under the asking price, and everybody wants to negotiate, and everybody watches HGTV and thinks that it's kind of this big game. But really, a good seller, somebody who's really motivated to get their home sold, has hopefully priced it really close to what they're going to sell it for. They're not including this big margin for negotiation. And in fact, the most recent market action report, which is the stats that we get from the MLS, tells us that for Clark County, or for Southwest Washington as a whole, the list price to the sale price, it's like a 98% ratio. So there's not a lot of big negotiation going on.
Yeah, I think people think, well, just because that's what they're asking, I want to feel like I got a good deal, so I'm going to offer $15,000, $20,000 less than asking price, and everybody's not going to be insulted, and they're just going to be so happy that they took my offer. And the more expensive the home, typically the longer it's going to sit on the market, even if it is priced right, because you've got more $300,000 buyers than you have $1 million buyers. So
and if you do a CMA, so a CMA is your comparable market analysis. When you're selling the home, your agent's going to do a CMA, tell you what things in the neighborhood have been selling for, and you're going to use that to price your home. When you're buying a home and you decide this is the one I want to write an offer on, if you've got a competent buyer's agent, they're also going to do a CMA. They're going to pull the comps in the neighborhood and tell you what things have been selling for. So it stands to reason. If a house is in a neighborhood and it's $300,000 and everything in that neighborhood has been selling for between $290 and $320 for the last 6 months, it makes no sense for my buyer to come in and write an offer for $250. Why would that seller even entertain it? And a lot of times buyers want to come in low like that because they think, well, they're just going to counter offer and we're going to start open a negotiation. But really, in a hot market, it doesn't really work that way. I mean, negotiation is fine, but it has to be reasonable. So when you look at what those comps have been selling for, your offer needs to be in the right ballpark. And especially, I just went through this with somebody who wanted a house. I mean, it was like day 2 on the market. The house just listed. It's a Friday. It hasn't even had open houses yet. And they want to come in $20,000 low.
Yes.
It's not a good use of our time.
Right. And I was working with a client recently that we were looking at a house. It had been on the market for a year. And they had done maybe one $5,000 price drop. And in our due diligence, while we were preparing the offers, what's going on with the property? Have you had an inspection? Why, how motivated are they? Because the seller might not be that motivated. If it's been sitting on the market a year and they're not really doing any price drops, it still might be marketable at that amount. And that's what the comps are telling you. But now you maybe got some bad juju associated with that property. I mean, people want to know why, if this is such a deal or it's appropriately priced, why is it still sitting on the market?
And I've had that too. I've had buyers say, well, it's been on the market so long, I bet they'll take anything. And I'm like, or it's been on the market so long because they won't take anything.
Yes. There are a lot of sellers out there that just want to test the market and they're not really motivated. They don't have anywhere to go. And so if they don't sell, they don't really care. They haven't found another home that they're in love with. And they're just testing the market. And there's a lot of agents that will just say, hey, I'll put a few $100 into helping you get your house sold. And if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. It's kind of the cost of doing business. But if it sells, well, it's something that they didn't really put much time or energy into.
Yeah, and when it comes to writing those lowball offers, also from the seller's perspective, if you're in it to get your house sold, you cannot take that stuff personally. And sometimes even an agent will apologetically present the offer. Like, I know it's low, but they're first time buyers. It's not meant to offend.
Right.
But as a seller, you really have got to have a thick skin and not take that stuff personally. Because I have had buyers write not great offers and then have a listing agent curse me out. Like, it was that they were insulted. Well, I had one tell me, I won't even show this to my client.
Which is illegal.
Which I pointed out was illegal. I'm like, I know it's a low offer, but.
Yes.
But yeah, and so you don't want to get into a situation where you are offending a seller as a buyer, but also just don't be that seller. Just don't take it personally.
Yes. Yeah. It's difficult. And I mean, as agents in the business, we don't want to offend our colleagues, but hopefully if another colleague is listening, they realize we're not offending them. We're doing what our client is asking us to do. And we're professionals. We've talked to them about it, but at the end of the day, it's still what the buyer would like to offer.
But you have to advise your client. Right? You have to advise them accordingly. And when you're working with somebody who's just going to be ridiculous, you do have the right to fire the client.
Well, this is true. It depends on how much they're doing that. The house might warrant it as well.
No, well.
Yes.
When you've written 6 crummy offers for somebody, it's time to say we're not looking at houses together anymore.
Yes, that is true. We're just not in that market. I mean, maybe back in the day during the recession, I mean, I was am an investor, and at the time, I was writing lots of lowball offers, but they were getting accepted. There was a certain percentage at that time.
Yes.
But we're not in that market right now. We don't fortunately see a lot. No, unfortunately, we're seeing some more short sales and foreclosures, but still nowhere near what we were seeing 10 years ago. So, I mean, we're just at that point where, people aren't just going to accept, $25,000 less than what they've asked for.
And now that it's spring, we're also creeping back into, I've seen more multiple offer situations. In the last 2 weeks, I've been involved in multiple offer situations again, which I hadn't really seen all winter long. And now, last weekend, we wrote an offer. It wasn't my offer, but a realtor that I'm working with, helping her write her first offer, they submitted it. They were one of 13. One of 13 offers on a house the first weekend on the market.
That's crazy. Yeah, at certain price points, you'll definitely see that.
So that's still a thing in our market. It's not as common as it was before, but we are still in that kind of a multiple offer situation sometimes.
Yes.
Speaking of spring.
Yes, we provide a weekly home maintenance tip that if you're just kind of chipping away at your home maintenance, you're keeping your home in tip-top shape. And this week we want to talk about washing your windows. Yay!
Sunshine!
Yes, open up those curtains, your blinds, take a look at what's outside. And if your windows look dirty and gross, either get out there and clean them or have a professional come and clean them. Make sure you're cleaning out the tracks too. Like, that totally grosses me out. I will spend time cleaning out my tracks, but if you just keep on top of it, it's not so bad. I know I'm weird.
Yeah, and I am surprised at how affordable window washing is.
Yes.
Like, you can have a company come out and do your windows, and it's not. I thought that was like
luxury,
a rich people thing.
Yes.
But apparently it's not, because I've had a client just do it, and it was like $12 a window or something, which was totally worth it on a 2-story house and not getting the ladder out and the whole deal.
Yes. So if it's something you just do once a year, once every 2 years, it really makes a difference.
And if you want to receive more home maintenance tips from us, we've got a whole slew of them. In fact, we've got 52, one for every week of the year. And you can get the whole list in a PDF download. Just text the word free to the number 77948, and you'll get the link to download that list.
Yes, free, 77948. We appreciate your time. Thanks for watching or listening.
Thank you for watching and podcast, and you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all the cool places where the cool podcasts are. And we'll see you next time.
See you next week.